to have our debates and disagreements, but we have to be able to put all of that aside when true evil rises up, like it does in Europe right now, in Russia right now. Fascism is on the rise. It's appalling to me that people can't look past the politics of Glenn Beck or of GLAAD to understand, yeah, we should stand together. By the way, this isn't a gay issue. It's a human issue. Aren't we humans first before we have sex with people? But for a second, let's say it is a gay issue. What part of my personal belief that you have a right to be who you are, and I have a right to be who I am, and that the government should get out of the marriage business entirely, and you should stay out of my church's business, and I should stay out of your business? What part of that sounds bigoted? I don't get my marriage rules from the government. I get them from my church. Don't tell my church who they have to marry. I won't tell you who you can and cannot marry. None of my business. Don't tell me I have to make a wedding cake for somebody, and I won't tell you you have to make a wedding cake, for me. Can't we just let people be who they are? Is that stance bigoted? But like I said, this isn't a gay issue. It's a human issue. You ask me, are you a conservative? Are you a libertarian? No, I'm pretty sure I'm a human being first. And I was given unalienable rights, and so are you. Why are we putting each other in boxes? Why do we have to have categories for everything? I know. It makes it easier. But it also makes it easier to become bigoted. Putting us in categories only serves politicians and then limits us from the true freedom of thought. I am a human who lives and breathes just like the next guy, whoever he's sleeping with. I have a family. I like to laugh. I like to play with my kids. I like to watch a good movie. Sometimes I see too many bad movies. I'm not angry. I'm not the evil conservative monster they say I am. And you get this one. I don't think they're the monster either. What? If we cannot lift ourselves out of the political muck that we're finding ourselves in, mired in, deeper and deeper every day, we're in trouble, because that's where we're stuck. We're stuck in this slimy mess where if you're opposed to amnesty, it must be because you hate Mexicans. If you oppose Obamacare, you just want old people to die. If you're for lower taxes across the board, you hate the needy and the poor. None of those are true. None of those are true. With Melissa Harris Perry this weekend, with what she said about Romney and what she was going through, I wrote to her and I said, I've never thought that you were a bad person. And I think you're being made to pay for the collective mistakes of MSNBC, because I've seen bigger mistakes there and didn't seem to make that much of a difference. Are people not seeing? Forget about them seeing us. Are we seeing them? Are we seeing their faces over fear? Are we seeing freedom over control? We can disagree about everything in politics. That's fine. But let's go out on a limb and get really crazy and say, maybe we should unite on some big things. Like, I don't know, people shouldn't be put into ovens alive. Or, even farther on the limb, people just shouldn't be put into ovens, even when they're dead. 8-year-olds shouldn't be forced to put suicide vests on and blow themselves up. In fact, no person should be forced to put on a suicide vest and kill others. You want to put on a suicide vest yourself? You're like, I don't know, that seems like a snappy number for me to wear today. I want to blow myself up. Go out and do it in the middle of a field. I don't really care. People shouldn't be forced to live a certain way. I shouldn't force my Christianity on you, and don't you force your atheism on me. If we're going to survive, we have to be a nation where we can all live next to each other and get along. But that starts here. When someone is bullied, we need to stand up with them, no matter who it is. Because once the bully is done with them, he's going to find someone else to pick on. It was wrong when it happened on the playground when we were kids. It's wrong now. When I was a kid, I didn't think I could do anything about the bully then, because most of the time the bully was pushing me down, and the crowd strangely was cheering. But I'm not afraid of bullies anymore. They don't hold any power over me. Whether those bullies are Russian, Chinese, Arab, American, Marxist, Islamic, Christian, atheist, Republican, Democrat, I'm not afraid. The only thing I'm afraid of losing is who I truly am. And I can't lose that, and that can't be taken from me. Unfortunately, I have to give that one away myself. So I stand with the little guy, every little guy, who has the right that we all do, all the rights that we find self-evident, a right to live, a right to pursue his or her happiness in the way he or she believes is right for him. Freedom is the uniting principle of our time. And unfortunately, time is running out. For the seventh consecutive year now, freedom in the world, it's a report that comes out, says now that more countries are losing freedom than gaining it. Why is that happening? Because we're talking about Duck Dynasty. We're talking about Glenn Beck instead of the Russian guy. Russia, by the way, saw the most dramatic swing after Putin regained power. And surprise, surprise, the Arab Spring has led to strong authoritarian response. You mean it's not a Jeffersonian revolution? So yes, Virginia, I will happily stand with GLAAD and anyone else who wants to stop real, actual hate and real, actual human rights abuses.
We all know how